The Golden State Warriors just got Dennis Schroder. It's reported, and they gave up no one to get him. How big a deal is this for Golden State and their offensive struggles? It's huge. On today's show.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yo, what is the good word, everyone? Welcome to a little bonus episode, rapid fire of Locked On Warriors, brought to you by Robinhood Gold, providing the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. We are free and available wherever you get your audio podcasts. We stream live on YouTube after games and whenever news breaks. And this is one of those days where news breaks. My name's Charlie Walter. I covered the team for the 95.7 The Game, which is the flagship station, for 3 seasons. Also covered them for KPIX, which is CBS News Bay Area. Saw the championship in 21-22. I had an emotional high earlier from my Cincinnati Bearcats hometown, taking down the Muskies in the crosstown shootout, but no one cares about that right now on this show. You only care about Dennis Schroder reportedly being finalized in a deal to the Bay Area, heading to the Golden State Warriors per Shams Charania, and all it would take per the current package is an injured DeAnthony Melton, who's out for the season, and 3 second-round picks. You're keeping all your draft picks intact, and you're getting Dennis Schroder. For those of you that want to know who Dennis Schroder is, you just saw him a couple weeks ago, so I'm sure you know who he is, and he was great against the Golden State Warriors. He's having maybe the best season of his NBA career. He's 31 years of age. He's 6'1", 172, but has a 6'7.5" wingspan. He's a ball handler. He's an on-ball stopper. His defense has gotten to the point where it's plus. He's good on both ends of the floor. Schroder averages 18 points a game, shooting at 45% from the floor, gives you a deep threat at 38%, and shoots at 88% from the free throw line. You like to hear that. What this is it's a direct seat on the bench to Brandon Bajemski. He had his chances to show up and show out. He's still on the team, is not a part of any deals as of yet, and we don't know if the Golden State Warriors are going to look elsewhere for other deals or if this finalization means that maybe he'd have to be thrown in there. But based on the salary matching, it would seem that he appears to be okay. And you know Steve Kerr, Bajemski's going to get his minutes. But Dennis Schroder, the Golden State Warriors, could change everything. At the very least, they are better than they were 2 hours ago if this goes through and Shams' report is correct. Now, remember, Shams is sticking by his reports that Jimmy Butler's agent told him he's looking at Golden State, Dallas, and other teams, Houston. And the agent is saying absolutely not. I never said that. And Shams is sticking by his report. So we will see. It's never finalized until it's tweeted from the Warriors account. You can help me out, chat, if it goes live while I'm on the show. But 18.5 points per game is what the Golden State Warriors are adding to the squad. Losing 3 draft picks, second-round picks. Does it hurt? Yeah, I mean, it hurts. But you get a player for an injured player in DeAnthony Melton that can't contribute in a position of need. Because an extra ball handler that could create, that could score on his own, it was massive. Peyton wasn't getting it done. Brandon Bajemski hasn't been getting it done. Buddy Hield's a different kind of guard where you're not expecting him to necessarily go out there and make a play unless it's a heat check step back 3. Otherwise, he's coming off screens, and that is how he scores. Or in transition, he's been pretty good this year. And Buddy had a great defensive game his last time out. But Schroder gives you another dynamic. He gives you at least a pulse, because it seemed pulseless for the last few weeks for the Golden State Warriors, especially down the stretch where in, 2 times in the last 5 games, maybe even more, they've gone multiple minute stretches to end the game with 0 points and blow 6-point leads. So this is huge. Freno, thanks for hopping in. Good stuff all around. We didn't think the Warriors were going to make a deal. We had heard the talks. But we were wondering. So we will see if this goes through and Dennis Schroder is a Golden State Warrior by the end of this day. Steve Kerr is very, very familiar with Schroder, having seen him obviously in FIBA for Germany. Schroder's just been solid. I mean, he was playing for the Hawks, I believe, in those NBA championship games against, right before the rise of the Warriors in 2000. I guess it was right around the time we saw him. We saw him in an Eastern Conference Finals playing the Cavs, right? When the Warriors got their first championship. That's kind of when we got exposed to Dennis Schroder in a simple way, because he wasn't great to start out of his career by any means. Averaged 3 points per game in his rookie season. But really, since his rookie season, has been nothing but solid. 10 points, 11 points, 17, 19, 15, 18. This is season by season. 15, 13, 12, 14, 18. Dennis Schroder gives you scoring. He gives you a punch. He gives you that pop that you desperately needed hours ago. Does it get you over the top? Probably not. They may have to do something else. But to give up second-round draft picks for him and to still have Jonathan Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins, it gives you flexibility to go out and get someone else if you think that's the right move. I want to hear from the chat right now. Is there anyone in the chat that doesn't like the move? Obviously, Melton's contract meant nothing. You were getting that you were getting that off the books. It was, by just the natural events that took place, it was a trade chip. That's all it was. You had to get rid of that expiring contract to a team that wanted some assets in return and attached some assets to it, and they attached second-round draft picks to it. Warriors still need size is the common theme right now in the chat. I see Robert Williams. I see some Miles Turner talks, but we got someone, did the Warriors, that can ball handle, that can play make, that is aggressive. He's tenacious on defense. He's just kind of pesky. Little guy, big wingspan. That would be the word I use to describe Dennis Schroder. Can't talk. That is pesky. Solid defender. Good understanding of spacing, staying in defensive positioning with his hands active without reaching. There's a plus. Displays a ball pest like mentality, has quick feet, that huge wingspan, a teardrop, runs the offense at a high speed. So when you talk about Steve Kerr and company wanting transition basketball, this is something that he can do. Super quick, good crossovers. Smaller guy for an NBA backcourt. For those of you that say, oh, but Steve Kerr needs to get more size. He needs to go to Dunleavy and demand that the Warriors add more size to the floor. You hope that's step 2 in this entire thing, because they could use some size. Although Looney's been playing well, I will say that, with the 15 to 20 that he's been getting. But man, this guy can get into the lane. He can create for others. Let's look at the assist numbers from Dennis Schroder on the season. He's averaging 6.5 of those per game, more than a steal per game. This is someone that was playing 33 minutes for the Brooklyn Nets. You just saw the impact that he had against your team a couple of weeks ago. Overall, if this goes through and the report from Shams Charania becomes official, this is a big time get for the Golden State Warriors. Let's continue the conversation, but let's get to the folks that pay the bills. With our friends over at FanDuel, get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It is America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can get some money with a little $5 bet to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. You could place the live bets on the NFL or NBA all in one place. You can see the stats. You got the live play-by-play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more. Good God. With FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Your fella's parched here. Going overtime on a Saturday, and the bug may have just gotten to the throat there. Today's episode also brought to you by Robinhood Gold. You don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold. Let me tell you a little bit about it now. Allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society and now the resourceful individual. If that's you, with Robinhood Gold, you can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standards here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures with RobinhoodGold.com. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold members is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Back to the show. Let's talk some Schroder. All right, so now the talk is, what are the Warriors going to do after they land Dennis Schroder reportedly? Shams Charania, the first to get on it. We're hearing phenomenal trade from the chat. For those of you wondering what the Warriors gave up, it's 3 second-round draft picks is the report that's being finalized, and it's DeAnthony Melton's contract. Everyone else is in check, and now what this allows you to do, in my opinion, what I think is going to happen, you're not going to see 31 minutes of Brandon Podziemski. That has nothing to do with his overall future in the Bay Area. Whether they love him or not is still yet to be seen. We know they did in the offseason, and based on the playing time that he's received this season, it seems to be that they're, training him to be a part of the future. But as of right now, you would have to think that this gives Dennis Schroder the green light in that position, and Schroeder's going to play his 30 minutes per game. 18 points, the scoring, good stuff. Schroder, Kuminga, Wiggins, Curry, changes everything. All of a sudden, you have some scoring. I mean, everyone is a consensus. I love this move. You got to take your shot. You're not swinging too big by going after a Jimmy Butler, at least at this moment, and getting rid of a Wiggins. And although you could say that those two cancel out, but you probably also have to get rid of first-round draft picks. You'd also have to get rid of a expiring contract in addition to Melton's, like a Gary Payton. You just get rid of a lot of the depth. Whereas this, you get rid of no depth. Melton was out for the season, and 3 second-round draft picks are going to be felt over the years, I guess. I mean, this is a franchise that in the last 10 have drafted, 15, Draymond Green, and now Trace Jackson Davis is seeing some starting spots. But it's 3 second-round picks in the grand scheme of things. The Nets wanted some assets. The Warriors came in apparently with the best offer. We'll see what happens. Now the question is, while they're already talking with the Brooklyn Nets, could that Cam Johnson trade become available? And what Cam Johnson would require, to salary match, now that you get rid of Melton's contract, you'd have to find another expiring deal to throw in there, or you'd have to throw in Andrew Wiggins because Jonathan Kuminga's contract's not even going to get it done. So that would be a Wiggins trade, and that to me just doesn't really make sense. I think Wiggins has been great this season. I was actually one of the more polite folks to Andrew Wiggins in the offseason. I just said that this was a prove-it year for him. He needed to show us that his head was still in the game and that he could play from the mental standpoint of it. And sure, he's had some injuries this season, but for the most part, when he's been out there on the floor, Wiggins has been 17-point, two-way Wiggs. He's given you exactly what you needed from Andrew Wiggins. So I would not trade him for Cam Johnson in that regard. You got some scoring from the Nets. It's on with the Nets, and it's looking to maybe you bolster your roster with another move. And the big move, obviously, would involve probably Jonathan Kuminga. We heard from Anthony Slater that Kuminga right now is in kind of a tryout position. It's green light for you. It's handcuffs are off. It's the training wheels are taken off. You're getting 30-plus minutes a night. We want to see what you can do. Are you going to be a part of this future? Or are you going to be a part of a trade that maybe gives the Warriors a player that has some tenured time to where you have him for a couple of seasons? Or I guess potentially a rental guy like a Miles Turner, if Indiana was willing to do that. Contract-wise, $26 million. That's the thing, is the Melton deal was the obvious one. They had to do something with DeAnthony Melton's contract. It made too much sense to get rid of it and attach some picks to it. Now that you're getting rid of all your second-round picks, likely any trade you make for that big fish that we've been talking about would involve some of those first-round picks. Are you willing to dish those off? Or maybe you wait. I mean, you do have until February 6th. The smart thing may be, hey, let's see what Kuminga gives you on the floor with Schroder, Curry. I mean, your new starting lineup could potentially be Schroder and Curry. I know it's small, but Schroder, Curry, Wiggins, I would say Kuminga, Draymond, but again, the small ball five, you can't. I mean, maybe that's the way that Steve Kerr decides to decide it, but maybe it's Schroder that comes off the bench and he's a spark in the second unit with Buddy. And down the stretch of games, he's going to be on the floor because he's one of those guys that can go and he can get you a bucket. So, hey, we were talking about someone that can maybe replace that Jordan Poole role. Schroeder's not going to be the microwave that Poole was, although the numbers say that he's very close. 18 to what? Poole's 21 or 22 in an efficient. And you're going to get better defense from Dennis Schroder. So the one thing that this is, if it's not something that puts the Warriors into championship contention, it is intriguing. You are a Warriors fan and you are not intrigued by this move. I don't know what to tell you. It's a lot more exciting than it was just a little bit ago. So that's the big question here. What are they going to do moving forward with players like Podziemski, with players like Kuminga being the big one, and then I guess Andrew Wiggins too? Will they attach any of those players to a deal that brings in a star player and all of a sudden this roster looks completely different? But Melton was a big trade chip. You now don't have that. You have the $9 million and $8 million of Kevon Looney and Gary Payton. Technically, you could trade Kyle Anderson's deal, which is around that amount of money as well. We haven't seen Anderson on the floor much this year anyways. And this move doesn't really open more room for that. They're not getting rid of anyone at his position. It's just draft picks. But, man, they've compared his positional size, Dennis Schroder at the point guard position, to a center. He plays like the biggest point guard out there is basically what his scout projected him as playing. Because his wingspan, man, 6'7.5". I mean, he's long. He's lanky. Warriors got another ball handler. They got someone that can go out there and make a play. So we will see what they do moving forward. Overall, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what. First of all, let's knock on some wood that this thing even happens. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the NBA. I'm going up and down Twitter right now trying to see if this is 1,000% official now. See what we're saying about Dennis live. Last I'm seeing is that in the numbers, man, 39% from three-point range, good defender, high IQ player, someone that can connect and move the basketball. Sorry, Brandon, your role has been tremendously reduced, and that is not a diss at you. You know I love you, Brandon. You heard me all offseason. But Dennis Schroder, breaking, has been traded to the Golden State Warriors for DeAnthony Melton and 3 second-round draft picks per Shams, yet to be 1,000% finalized with the Golden State Warriors graphic that says welcome. That obviously takes some time, but when there is smoke, there is fire, and the Warriors just got a lot better when this officially goes down. So exciting day, everyone. Just a little bonus content. If you're not subscribed to the show, we are here for you. Live reaction, fair reaction. That's my biggest thing. Because you want to talk about fair, I was on Brandon Podziemski in the I was a big fan of Brandon Podziemski's game in the offseason. I thought that he was going to have a stellar sophomore season. Seemed so confident. Seemed like he was clicking from the games I watched him in the summer league. Granted, you heard the talk about he was one of the most impressive players per Cooper Flag at USA Select. So I thought it was going to be a big year from him. And I will waffle that opinion completely and say he's been disappointing and that I believe in him in the future. But it's time for Dennis Schroder. It's time to shorten some of these rotations, and Dennis Schroder enters the mix and makes this team a lot better than we saw them before. I hope I am preaching, everyone. Hopefully this is the beginning of what the Warriors do. And hopefully the, best case scenario, he just clicks with this entire core and the Warriors rattle off 5 in a row, culminated with a win against Cleveland the day before New Year's Eve. And they put together a little streak. They're already in the top 5 of the West. And maybe we don't need to make another move. Maybe the Warriors have what they need. Probably not. They could probably use some size. They could probably use a lot of things. And I'm sure Dunleavy and company are in the lab, but they have assets still to give up. Melton gone, 3 second-round picks per Shams. Lock it in, folks. This is Locked On Warriors, a little bonus episode, free and available wherever you get your audio podcast. Peace, everyone.